Hey guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. So I'm coming on here to talk to you guys about Monarch Programming. So there's this project called Project Monarch, and it's just an extension of MKUltra that happened in the 1960s. You can look it up on CIA.gov about all the torture tactics that they put on people to mind control people. So get excited for what the CIA is doing tonight. Yeah. Okay, so although there have never been any official admittance of the existence of Monarch Programming, whenever there was MKUltra, they tried to hide so many of the documents and burn it so then people wouldn't see. But there's disclosed documents that show the trauma-induced mind control and all the substances that have been used to promote mind control, which are the drugs that Big Pharmacia is using today in outpatient psychiatric treatment centers with psychiatrists and in mental health hospitals. I worked in 3 different mental health facilities. One was a state-ran psychiatric hospital, and I have actually been on 19 different psychiatric medications over 19 years, starting as a teenager. So, prominent researchers have documented the systematic use of trauma on subjects for mind control purposes. Some survivors, with the help of dedicated therapists, were able to deprogram themselves, then go on record and disclose the horrifying details of their ordeals. Nobody is ever able to deprogram themselves. Only Jesus, the great programmer, can deprogram you. If you look into Bride Ministries and the Bride movement, actually Dan DeVol talks about deprogramming and the work that he has done with survivors in this regard. But you're unable to deprogram yourself. You have to call on Jesus and actually let him heal you and heal the subconscious parts of your heart that you don't even know about, especially if you have dissociation and you dissociated as a child and you've been on these dissociative drugs like I was. So let's go. So I have this document from vigilantcitizen.com. I'm gonna actually put the link in the description below because this is fire. Because it just, if you don't know what's wrong with you and you've been on all these psychiatric medications for years and you kept calling out to God like, please God, why am I like this? Why am I this way? Why do I have to take all this medication? Why do these things keep happening to me, Lord? Change me, mold me, shape me into the person that you want me to be, that you designed me to be, prior to what the enemy has done. What the enemy meant for evil, God is turning around for good. You best believe it, baby. So, Monarch Mind Control is named after the monarch butterfly, an insect who begins its life as a caterpillar, representing undeveloped potential. After a period of cocooning, reprogramming, or programming, is reborn as a beautiful butterfly, the monarch's slave. Some characteristics specific to the monarch butterfly are also applicable to mind control. One of the primary reasons that the Monarch Mind Control Programming was named Monarch Programming was because of the monarch butterfly. The monarch butterfly learns where it was born, its roots, and it passes this knowledge via genetics onto its offspring from generation to generation. This was one of the key animals that tipped scientists off, that knowledge can be passed genetically. The Monarch program is based upon Illuminati and Nazi goals to create a master race in part through genetics. If knowledge can be passed genetically, which it is, then it is important that parents be found that can pass the correct knowledge onto those victims selected for the Monarch Mind Control. When a person is undergoing trauma induced by electroshock, a feeling of lightheadedness is evidenced, as if one is floating or fluttering like a butterfly. Dissociation with ketamine as well, and all the other medications that promote dissociation and the trauma-induced dissociation, which we'll get into that as well. There is a symbolic representation pertaining to the transformation or metamorphosis of this beautiful insect, from a caterpillar to a cocoon, dormancy, inactivity, to a butterfly, new creation, which will return to its point of origin. Such is the migratory pattern that makes this species unique. So, a victim survivor is called a slave by the programmer handler, who in turn is perceived as master or God. Lowercase g, because the only God is Jesus Christ, baby. Name above all names, Lord of Lords, King of Kings, Jesus. About 75% are female, since they possess a higher tolerance for pain. higher tolerance for pain, and tend to dissociate more easily than males. Monarch handlers seek the compartmentalization of their subject's psyche in multiple and separate altered personas, using trauma to cause dissociation. Dissociative identity disorder, multiple personalities, mixed personalities. The following is a partial list of these forms of torture. Abuse and torture. Confinement in boxes, cages, coffins, etc., or burial. Restraint with ropes, chains, cuffs, etc. Restrained in 4-point restraints with my shoulder like this. Limbs out of place. Chemically restrained with drugs. Near drowning. Extremes of heat and cold, including submersion in ice water and burning chemicals. Skinning. Anybody ever had dreams about being skinned? Or people getting skinned in front of them? Spinning. Blinding light. Electric shock. Compulsive therapy that they still do today. Forced injection of offensive body fluids and matter such as blood, urine, feces, flesh. They do this in Freemasonry cults to young children. Hung in painful positions or upside down. Hunger and thirst, sleep deprivation, compression with weights and devices, sensory deprivation, drugs to create illusion, confusion, or amnesia, often given by injection or intravenously. Big Pharmacia. FDA-approved GHB Xyrem for narcolepsy. They're giving it to kids as young as 7, maybe even younger. 4 years old in mental institutions, being held down and injected whenever they don't submit to the will of those in authority. Ingestion or intravenous toxic chemicals to create pain or illness, including chemotherapy agents. Limbs pulled or dislocated. Applications of snakes, spiders, maggots, rats, and other animals to induce fear and disgust. I used to get chased around with mice because that was my thing prior to getting free of all that fear. Because fear is a liar. Faith over fear. Near-death experiences, commonly asphyxiation by choking or drowning with immediate resuscitation. Anybody been choked before? Yeah, I have. Near-death experiences, commonly asphyxiation by choking or drowning with immediate resuscitation. Forced to perform or witness abuse, torture, and sacrifice of people and animals, usually with knives. Forced participation in slavery. Abuse to become pregnant. The fetus is then aborted for ritual use. Moloch. They're sacrificing babies. Or the baby is taken for sacrifice or enslavement. Spiritual abuse to cause victim to feel possessed, harassed, and controlled internally by spirits or demons. Whenever you dissociate and whenever you go into these new age practices, then that's opening the door to demons and mind control and tormenting spirits. Desecration of Judeo-Christian beliefs in form of worship, dedication to Satan or other deities. Abuse and illusion to convince victims that God is evil, such as convincing a child that God has abused her. So in some of these organizations like Freemasonry, which is actually Luciferian, which is actually satanic, so if you didn't know, they'll actually have plays of Jesus, and after these kids watch this play, then the person that played Jesus rapes them. So then they'll have that that they don't even remember. They'll have that underlying thing of, oh, Jesus raped me. So that makes people not want to seek Jesus. That makes people distrusting of Jesus. That makes people not believe. That makes people unable to go into the spiritual awakening that Jesus wants us all to have because of these walls that have been put up, these amnesic walls due to abuse. So there's surgery to torture, experiment, or cause the perception of physical or spiritual bombs or implants. Harms or threats to harm. Family, friends, loved ones, pets, and other victims to force compliance. Use of illusion and virtual reality to confuse and create non-credible disclosure. The fear. They want you to fear, so you won't keep seeking Jesus, so you'll fall in line with their abuse.